Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, and it's Coffee Talk with Karen. And y'all better listen to me or I'm calling the manager. And while I'm waiting for the manager, I'm going to talk about my kids. Seriously, I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, and I'm sure the rest of you aren't either. I lay in bed and think about things when it's quiet and just ask myself a lot of questions. And I wonder, what if, I was black? How would my life be different? I was thinking about whenever I would come back from Mexico or Thailand or somewhere where we got a lot of sun, and everybody would say, "Oh my God, you look great. You've got color, and everybody looks better with a tan." And I think a lot of us think that. I'm trying to stay out of the sun now because I know what it'll do to you. But what if you woke up tomorrow and you had a permanent tan, that you were black or brown, and it wasn't going to fade, and that was your life? How would you feel? You and I both know our lives would be very different. I'm speaking to the white people out there. I know it would be different. And I've been trying so hard to educate myself and read books and articles and do research about Black history, which I did in college. It was one of my favorite subjects. I remember how outraged and upset I was about how our country was founded. It was basically, decimating the Native culture here, Native Americans. It was genocide, what we did. And we have to own that for our own growth and purposes. We destroyed their culture. We broke every contract we ever had with them. And then our country was founded on enslaving people to do the work that we didn't want to do. We brought millions of Africans over here. Then they became African Americans, but they had no right. They were property of white people. And I know people get uncomfortable when we talk about this, but every one of us has to own that. And it's a hard thing to acknowledge. But if you look at the history and you really read what blacks have had to live with since the inception of our country, it's devastating. It's the cruelest thing you can think of. And it's still happening. As much as we want to think it isn't, what's happening right now is history in the making. It's what kind of country do we want to live in, If I woke up tomorrow and I was the mother of black children, I would be terrified because I know I couldn't protect them. I remember when my son got his driver's license and he drove away the first time by himself. I cried and I said to Steve, "What if he doesn't come back?" I thought, what if he has an accident and gets killed and I never see him again? I couldn't bear the thought of it, but I never thought that he might get pulled over and shot because he reached for his wallet or something. And I've never had to have that talk about what do you do if you get pulled over by the police. Always having to think about that. It just has never been part of my mindset. And I forgot all the things that I learned in college when I was taking Native American studies and Black history. I was outraged. But over the years, I've forgotten. I've become complacent. I thought things were better. And I know that's not true. It's just that we're seeing it more now because people have cell phones. And it's just inherent in our culture that white people think they're superior. And even if we don't think we're superior, our culture has been saying that since the inception of our country. And You know, when it really hit me when George Floyd was killed, I know he wasn't perfect. You know, nobody is, and people talk about his criminal past, but he was a human being, and he didn't deserve to die that way. And I know all cops aren't bad, but when you see ACAB, it means all cops are bad if the good cops don't speak up. But the culture of law enforcement and in the military is you do what you're told. You're trained to do what you're told. No questions asked. You follow your orders. And unfortunately, it's so hard for good cops to speak up against things that they see wrong when their brothers in arms are doing things that they abhor, but they can't stop it. Or if you know, or they can be turned on. And I think all of this having to enforce policies and things that you don't believe in day after day can dehumanize you as you're dehumanizing the people that you're supposed to be protecting. It's just a vicious circle, and it has to stop. And I think when unions were made, they were to protect people's rights, you know, to help them keep their jobs and not be taken advantage of by their employers. But when you have unions that protect law enforcement that are killing people, or, you know, in the church when they were protecting pedophile priests, or in education when there are really bad teachers that shouldn't be teaching and they're protected by their unions. It's wrong and it needs to change. And you can't, you know, what's happening in the government right now. We have a president that is committing treason every day, as far as I'm concerned. He's eroding all of our rights. Well, how do you think Black people feel? And they've had their rights eroded from the get-go. And they just want equality. And we have to help them. And I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable. It makes me really uncomfortable too, because I feel like I've been complicit, even though I never thought of myself as a racist. I wasn't anti-racist enough. I wasn't doing what I needed to do to make it better. And this meme, Karen, now, when I first heard what it was, I was kind of shocked. I was like, what? I'm never like that, you know? I usually call the manager to say something nice about somebody that waited on me, or when I was in a store. But, you know, how can I be outraged that Karen is this awful white woman that, you know, uses her white privilege to complain about things when she's not getting her way? It's not hurting me. I'm not walking around with a giant sign saying, my name is Karen, and people are coming up to me and telling me what a jerk I am. You know, it's just that some of us can, you know, you can take off a uniform and nobody knows you're a policeman. Or, you know, there's no way to identify me as Karen. But you can tell that I'm white. I have white skin. But I've never had really any bad interactions with somebody because I was white. I've had people say nasty things to me because I was fat, and that really hurt. But it didn't kill me. And like they say, I can lose fat. I can say I can lose weight, but you'll still be an ugly person, just in spirit anyway. You know, I mean, the way we look shouldn't matter. It's who we are in here. And to all my Christian friends out there, this is biblical. We are supposed to protect our brothers. It doesn't matter what color. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in God, and that everybody was created in God's image, well, when everybody looks in the mirror, you're looking back at God. This is the image, okay? So there's this history in the making. We need to stick up for the oppressed, or we are the oppressor. And as far as to all the policemen out there that want to do good, I know this is killing you too, having to do these kinds of things every day. When my father was dying, he talked about some of the things that he thought and did in the cause of his country and what he was told to do, and he regretted it greatly. So just let's just keep searching our hearts for any tiny bit of prejudice. We need to be kind. We need to look for places where we can do good, and we need to speak up when we. Sorry, there's a big. I think this is my cue to shut up, but it's probably Steve out there got a chainsaw going, so you can't hear me. But anyway, that's my little bit, and I love you all, and I hope we can have a better day today. Take care and do what you can to make it better. Okay, bye-bye.